Owen back with us with the business. Lots of earnings out again this Wednesday. Societe Generale seeing another big slide in profits.
Yeah, remember this is a bank steward that had to ditch any kind of forecasting for the year. So troubled are the conditions in the Eurozone right now. As you say, profits down nearly half for the second quarter, down to just over 430 million euros. That's missing expectations. It says it all really when you contrast a company like SocGen with Standard Chartered, a bank that does just about all its business in Asia and has seen its profits up 12% to around $2 billion. Just to finish on SocGen, it says that liquidity is good in the Eurozone. It doesn't foresee any need for another long-term refinancing operation. Remember, the ECB has been keeping us guessing for the last week or so about what it will do on Thursday in terms of intervening in the Eurozone debt crisis. Also, SocGen noting that it is cooperating with regulators investing the interbank lending scandal that affects both LIBOR in the UK and Euribor, its European counterpart. So what did all that do for the markets? Well, not a great deal really. Pretty flat start to the trading session in Europe. All of the indices, major indices, pretty flat, bar the IBEX, which is trading up around 0.5% on the Asian markets. Not a great day's trade. Some investors losing a bit of nerve there, with the Nikkei closing around 0.5% down.
Now, if you trade shares in companies like SocGen or L'Oreal or Louis Vuitton, it's going to cost you a little bit more money from today.
That's right. This is France, which has doubled a new tax on financial transactions. And that means that from today, the 1st of August, 109 of the country's largest firms, the likes of Societe Generale, the likes of BNP Paribas, will, if you trade those shares, you will pay 0.2% on those transactions. Now, this was the first levy of its kind in Europe. The Swedes, I should say, did try this in the 1970s but abandoned it. The French think this will bring in around 170 million euros this year alone. If you think this all sounds like typically socialist French stuff, then it's worth remembering that it was in fact a centre-right president, remember him, Nicolas Sarkozy, who brought this law in. It didn't really have time to bed down, and François Hollande has simply doubled the amount at stake here.
Okay, and the UK, though, has said that this kind of tax would never happen on its shores. The US doesn't seem to be very keen either. Is it going to catch on?
Well, most European countries, alongside France, are watching this with great interest. Many of them have been fairly ambiguous as to their position on it, but the Germans, the Spanish and so on will be watching this with interest. The EU as a whole has indicated it does want to bring in this kind of law in the next few years. It thinks it could bring in as much as 50 billion euros in revenues should it be implemented, and that would go some way to offsetting some of these debt crises we're seeing around the Eurozone. But you have to question whether, when two big economies like the UK and the US, two big financial centres, are against it, how effective this law will be around the world.
Okay, let's bring you a couple of other business stories then. And Facebook shares have hit a new low. The social network closed down more than 6% to $21. Facebook stocks have lost nearly half their value since a hugely hyped launch on the Nasdaq in May, and disappointing earnings. The latest sell-off happened after UBS admitted it lost 349 million Swiss francs on its Facebook investment.
And Microsoft has carried out a complete transformation of its flagship email service Hotmail by rebranding its Outlook. The software giant says it wants to better integrate Hotmail into social networks like Facebook. Hotmail is the world's most popular free email site with 36% of the global market, but Google's Gmail is quickly catching up, with now commanding a 31% market share.
Good stuff, Owen. Thank you very much. More business from Owen, of course, tomorrow. The very latest news comes up for you right after the sport. Do stay with us.